Hey folks, happy Thursday and welcome to our market intel brief here at Top Gun Options and Maverick Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and in exactly 1 week from today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be knocking out the second of two, obviously that would be the second of two live trade briefs where I'm going to debrief the elections, red wave, and what I'm targeting for max profit. So next Wednesday and Thursday, that's live training, the 9th and 10th of November. And all you need to do to register free briefs, head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That's go.topgunoptions.com/FT. We're going to be talking about inflation, the red wave, the wars, the Fed, Joe Biden, the recession that we're not in, but we're in, but it'll be a bigger one next year, and the bear market, which we are absolutely crushing. You do not want to miss these two free live trade briefs next Wednesday and Thursday. Go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Real quick before we get into our intel brief for what's going on in the market, you need to check out our most recent Max Afterburner podcast powered by No Fallen Heroes. Episode 43 just dropped, From Fallujah to Homeless in New York City. This Marine finds ultimate healing and puts the ladder down to save others. Justin Lepre, great American, great Marine over in Austin, Texas. He started the heroic Path to Light. This guy was kicking down doors, infantry squad leader in the United States Marine Corps in the Battle of Fallujah, folks. It does not get any more battle than that. Traumatic brain injury, found entheogenic psychedelic-assisted therapy on his own in about 2018, and you won't believe the healing journey that he's on, and he's putting down the ladder to help others. He's actually doing his first retreat November 7th through the 10th. So on the 9th and 10th next week, when we're doing our live trade briefs, we're actually going to take a little bit of a pause and send some love to the combat veterans, the first responders, fire, and police that are also doing their journeys over in Austin, Texas with Justin Lepre. Folks, if you can throw a couple shekels, man, head to heroicpathtolight.org/donate. I threw a couple shekels. The No Fallen Heroes Foundation threw a couple shekels. They need a little cash, man. Why? Because we don't want veterans, first responders, or Gold White Star spouses to pay a penny. We want to be able to have these folks go for free to heal. So please, I'm begging you, heroicpathtolight.org/donate, and literally you can help save a life. No higher purpose, no higher calling. I just made, if you were in the Lifetime group, and the hunters over here, you just made, or could have made, $1,200 in about, what was that, 15 minutes? Right there. Bear call spread, open, right there, quick, $1,200. There's from 237 to 242, there's $1,200. You could have thrown $1,200 and helped save a veteran's life. So how do you become a TGO member and you make $1,200 in a couple minutes? You join. And you're going to find out how to join next week. Let's get into it. Another disgusting speech, clearly, out of the, quote, President of the United States. He didn't have the Marines this time behind him and looking like Emperor Palpatine, but it was still awful. If you're not a Democrat, if you don't believe in what we're saying, in our one-party rule, you're an enemy of the state. I mean, this is coming from the original election deniers, right? Michael Strahan, or what's her name, Stacey Abrams in Georgia, still thinks she's the governor. Hillary Clinton, for years. Donald Trump's an illegitimate president. I won the election. So when they deny elections, it's right and fair, and we're right. When other people deny elections, it's, oh, you're a terrorist and anti-American. This is where we are, folks. The stench of hypocrisy in this country, you can cut with a knife, and I've had it. It's awful. The adults are back in charge. That's the adult who's in charge of this country. It's an absolute disgrace. I can't wait for next week to see the Democrats repudiate. I ain't no Republican, folks. I'm an independent. I'm a libertarian. Leave me alone. I'll throw enough money in a kitty to take care of roads and the military. Everything else, leave me alone. Entitlements? Are you high Are you seriously high that you can even use the word entitlement? I'm entitled to, you're entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everything else, figure it out. Everything else, figure it out. But no. This is America nowadays. The same people who locked you and your children up and got you fired or shamed you now want amnesty. We want a pandemic amnesty. They're not apologizing, right? Because then they'd admit they were wrong. I was right. I'm on Twitter account number 5 because I was right, calling out all of this hypocrisy, the lies. Remember the Pfizer executive last month? Yeah, we didn't test the vaccine against transmission. Wait, say that again and you're under oath. Oh, that was a lie too. See, Governor Whitmer, well, we didn't close schools, or they weren't closed for that long, just a couple months. It was like a freaking year and a half, lady. Oh, I mean, the most 3 months. They're insane. The Ukrainian flag in their bio, we can do this together, Vax pick. These people are fucking nuts. And they want an amnesty? They want us to simply forget what happened for the past 2 years. Oh, I can forgive you. You're forgiven, man. Forgiveness doesn't exist in heaven where the need for it is inconceivable. Forgiveness is a human trait, right? I forgive you all. I warned you. I told you you were wrong. I was an anti-American, Putin, fascist, whatever. Listen to me next time. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I sat here for a year and a half ago saying, Jerome Powell, stop pumping money into the market, start raising interest rates. Nope. Inflation's transitory. Joe Biden, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell told us. Inflation's caused by Putin, they told us. It's the Saudi, it's everybody but us. The people who made these decisions are saying everybody else is at fault but me. Remember Joe Biden running for president? I'm going to be an adult and the buck stops with me and I'll take responsibility for everything. He hasn't taken responsibility for one fucking thing. Did you hear Mumbles make shitty pants the other day? I passed the student debt relief through Congress and I signed it and it's law. Are you fucking insane, dude? You made an executive order. You signed a piece of, it's unconstitutional what you did, but the fact that the dude can't even remember spending $500 billion in our money illegally. He can't even remember what the fuck he did. If you live in the great state of Pennsylvania or New York and you elect Fetterman or Governor Hochul, I don't care what happens to you at this point. I simply don't. The videos of people getting pushed into the subway tracks and getting mugged or randomly punched in the face, I don't care. I live in the free state of Florida. I'm done. Any state who keeps what has led this country to where we are right now, and you vote to keep that, you deserve everything bad that's going to happen to you. A great, wise African-American president in this country once said, elections have consequences. You pick a guy who's literally brain dead to be the senator from Pennsylvania, and I'm just done. I can't. Just go away. Oil spikes after the Pentagon predicts Iran attack on Saudi Arabia likely in 48 hours. Iran denies. Oh, that's awesome. So war in the Middle East. Oh, and North Korea, I think, has rippled off about 12 missiles in the past 48 hours, including an ICBM. And what did South Korea do? They actually returned fire. F-15 Strike Eagles and F-16s shot SLAM ERs. They've returned fire, folks. Have you seen this in our media at all? Of course you haven't. They're going to hide shit like this, that the world is absolutely falling apart. China, Taiwan. Oh, and do you remember this, folks? Remember what I told you on day one? Oh, Wiz, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're nuts. U.S. troops are in Ukraine. U.S. troops will never be in. They've been in there since day one, before day one. They'll never, Joe Biden will never have boots on the ground. That won't happen. They're in there. Now they finally came out and said it. Well, they're in there to keep track of the weapons and the equipment. Okay, John F. Kennedy and Vietnam. That sounds good. Why? Because guess what's going on? The same liberals, vaccine mandate people with the Ukrainian flags in their bios who demand background checks to buy a handgun in America are the same people who support airdropping weapons all over Ukraine. What's happening to the weapons? They're on the fucking black market, folks. Weapons destined to the front line in Ukraine are spreading throughout Europe. Where's all my background check people? You need a background check as a former veteran. And you have the Gadsden flag. You're a terrorist. Okay. But let's airdrop AR-15s all across Europe. Nice job, fellas and ladies. Another, quote, conspiracy theory that I've gotten right is this. Who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline? We did. I mean, the UK, with help from the United States. This is how stupid. So Liz Truss, the lady who was prime minister in the UK for about 12 minutes, her phone was hacked. Within minutes of the Nord Stream pipeline blowing up, she sent a text to our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, that said, it's done. Hours later, Anthony Blinken is giving a speech going, this is great news, that pipeline blowing up. Now Europe won't be dependent on Russia, and we can sell them oil and gas. Dude, you said the quiet part out loud. Then hours later, the United States is like, we don't know who did that. We do. Russia did it. Oh, Russia blew up their own pipelines. Even though Vladimir Putin has a switch on his desk that says on and off. So instead of just turning the pipelines off, Putin blew his own pipelines up. Yes. Okay. If you sit here, folks, and don't question what our government is telling you, you're a fucking idiot. And I mean that with the full weight and force of the way that sounded. Are you people insane? My God. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. It wasn't. Well, I said it, so it's the truth. Anyway, yesterday was awesome. Jerome Powell came out. Watch what the market did yesterday. This was classic. 2 o'clock from 2 to 2:30. You see that M&M right there? You see that big M? 2 o'clock, the minutes come out. The computers read the minutes, and what did the minutes say? Oh, we're going to be careful. We're going to make sure everything's, we're not going to break things, and we think we can get a soft landing. What happened at 2:30? Jerome Powell opened his mouth. I think I placed 3 or 4 trades yesterday. All of them hit max profit. On the down, on the up, on the down, the up, and then on the implosion, I just got out of the way. I'm like, I just sat there with my popcorn and laughed as we printed money. Why? The spoken word in the press conference. Did you hear him? He's like, I'm not kidding. Anybody thinking I'm going to pivot or stop raising interest rates anytime soon, you're high. You're an idiot. This is pain time. And look at the market today like, no, we don't believe him. Folks, if you actually do the math like I've done, folks, he's, as of yesterday, we're at 375 to 4 on the Fed's base rate. It's still negative in real terms. The Fed's interest rate is currently negative. You ready for this? No disinflation we can ever remember in world history was achieved without raising rates above what? What the inflation rate is. The Fed's current target is 2%, folks. That's their favorite measure. The PCE, their favorite gauge of inflation, was at 6.2. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be almost double where the Fed currently is for us to get inflation under control. Did you hear what the guy said yesterday? He reaffirmed what I've been saying for a year and a half. Right around here, Jerome, a young enterprising reporter asked, she said, Mr. Powell, do you think a soft landing's possible? Of course, I'm yelling at the TV. Of course it's not. The plane already crashed. I'm like walking through the wreckage, trying to find my carry-on so I can walk to the terminal and get an Uber and leave this shit show. Jerome Powell sitting in the front of this crashed airplane, making jet noises with his hands, and his hair's still smoking, thinking he can land this. Finally, the dude yesterday said what? No. It's like the housekeeper on Family Guy. No. We ain't gonna. We've already crashed, guys. So guess what is going to happen? As I've told you, look out below. See this right here? Let's go to that top right there and then that bottom right here. See these? That's a lot of darkness in here. This is why you want to join me next week for the election debrief, man, because this is going to be ugly. There's a double bottom right here, and it's look out below. Ain't going to be no Santa Claus rally. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? You ready for this? Every time Jerome Powell raises the interest rates, what happens to our debt? We've given ourselves a massive fucking loan. We're like 30. You ready for this? You can't even understand these numbers. We are $31 trillion in debt and getting deeper. And it's like we have this massive credit card bill. We're way overdrawn. And what's it say in the fine print? Yeah, your interest rates are going to go up. Ladies and gentlemen, the interest payment. You ready for this? This will blow you the fuck away. So next time you hear some liberal or Democrat go, we need to spend less on defense. You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? As of yesterday, the interest payment on our debt is the same size as the annual budget for the United States military. We spend too much on defense. We spend the exact same amount on defense that an interest payment is. And obviously, as we spend more and more money and go deeper in debt, we will be spending more in interest payments than we spend on defense. Isn't that insane? Nobody gives a shit, Wiz. We're going to go Russia 1990 or whatever it was. Are we going to wake up one day and the government just goes, those are all zeros. We're going to wipe out our debt. That's when, in your wallet, those dollars that say the full faith and credit of the United States, they just kind of evaporate. We are no longer the world's reserve currency, and we're just some 2-bit South American dictatorship, which is kind of what we are now, right? I'm wiping out $500 billion in debt relief right in front of an election. What? You can't do that. It's illegal. I did. And Congress did it. No, they didn't. Yeah, but my son died in Iraq. No, he didn't. Oh, it's cute when Joe Biden lies. He's like an old grandpa when he lies. Folks, he bowed out of one of his third presidential runs. He ran for president 3 times, and one of them he had to bow out because he's a plagiarist. But it's cute when Joe Biden does it because he's like an old grandpa. Okay. He's that creepy old grandpa you stay away from at Thanksgiving because he's smelling all the kids. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT and register for my 2 free briefs next week after the election, because I got a shit more to say than what I did today, and you don't want to miss it. Like I said, go check out on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever the cool kids listen to podcasts. You listen to the Max Afterburner podcast, episode 43 with Justin Lepre, from Fallujah to homeless in New York to Wall Street. Wounded Warrior Project helped him buy 3 suits. He interviewed at a Wall Street firm. Boom, hired on a Wall Street firm. Then to the fire service. Got the Medal of Merit for saving a guy's life in a plane crash. Wasn't Jerome Powell's. Go listen to episode 43, and I'm begging you folks, go throw a couple bucks at heroicpathtoLight.org/donate. Help sponsor a veteran, first responder, or Gold and White Star spouse. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged, man, especially with the shit show that's coming. God bless, namaste, and fights on.